Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. For those of you that are new to my channel, my name is Holly and as you can tell I am registered as blind. Before we get into the video, I'd just like to encourage you to subscribe as it would really mean a lot to me, and make sure you share my videos, comment, give them a thumbs up. Yeah, I would really appreciate that. For today's video I thought I would do a video on my favourite blindness apps. So for those of you that are new, obviously, as I said, I'm registered as blind, I have no use or vision, and I can only see light and dark. I use a wide range of assistive technology and apps to help me in everyday life. I have an iPhone, I have an iPhone 8, and I use VoiceOver on my iPhone so that it allows me to be able to use it like everyone else, which is absolutely brilliant. VoiceOver reads everything what's on the screen and enables me to use an iPhone like my friends or family would, which I absolutely love. I wouldn't be without my iPhone now, and I certainly don't think I'd change. The apps and accessibility features that I'm going to discuss in this video are related to Apple, so other operating systems might vary, but there is a wide range of apps that are available on other operating systems such as Android, and you can get many of the accessibility features on these as well. But I'm just talking from my own personal experience and the apps that I personally use and find really helpful. I thought I would start by showing you some of the accessibility features that I use. These are mainly VoiceOver, which I thought I would just give a quick demo of today. So if I unlock my phone, all of the accessibility features are in settings. So you go to settings, they are there in general. There is then a feature called accessibility. In here there is all sorts of features. So there's features for vision, there's things for people with other disabilities such as hearing impairments. So if I go to the VoiceOver options, I'll just discuss a few things that are in here. So you can toggle VoiceOver on and off. I wouldn't recommend doing this if you aren't a confident VoiceOver user, as it completely changes the way that you use your phone. So it says VoiceOver speaks items on the screen, which is exactly what it does. In here you can change various settings. So that's just kind of telling you how to use it. So you tap, swipe. So you can adjust the speaking rate, and adjust speech, verbosity, which is braille, audio, and all sorts like that. So that's just a quick tour of VoiceOver. If you would like me to do a video on accessibility features on their own, then please do let me know, and I'll definitely do that for you. So let's discuss some of my favourite blindness apps. The first kind of category that I'm going to discuss is books. I absolutely love reading and really enjoy to sit down and read a good book. Just because I'm blind, it doesn't mean to say that I can't do this. I use a wide range of apps to ensure that I can read books just like everyone else. The first one that I use is Audible. Audible is by Amazon, and you can listen to audiobooks. So you can purchase audiobooks of Audible and you can listen to them on your iPhone, iPod, iPad using the Audible app. Audiobooks aren't just for people with a visual impairment, they are for anyone. You can't beat just sitting down and listening to a good audiobook and just having some relaxation time. You can get a regular Audible subscription, which you can do every month, which enables you to get a book every month because you get 1 credit a month. However, if you don't do this, they can be quite expensive, so it depends how many you want to read really. People often think, oh, visually impaired people just listen to audiobooks, which is not the case at all. We can use other apps, which is what I'm going to discuss now. The other apps that I use for reading are Kindle. Now this is also Amazon's app. I'm sure you've all heard of Kindle. So that is a standalone device. They do have accessibility features, but the Kindle app is great if you've got an iPhone, iPod, pad, anything like that. If you purchase Kindle books and you use VoiceOver like me, VoiceOver will read the book out loud, so it's kind of like a mini audio book, just without a narrator. VoiceOver just reads it for you. Now, I think it's really good actually. It may not have as much of an expression as a person would just reading the book, but it is really good and I do enjoy listening to a good Kindle book. They are significantly a lot cheaper than Audible books, but obviously that's because they're a book itself and someone hasn't had to narrate it. There are other features that you can change in the Kindle app, the screen and all sorts really. The next one that I use is Apple's version of Kindle, which is iBooks. You can pretty much do the same, so you can purchase audiobooks and they will be stored in your iBooks library. You can purchase books and VoiceOver will read them, or if you have some use of vision you can read them yourself. So it's up to you which you like best really. I like them both for different reasons and often see where I can get the cheapest book. Amazon, Kindle or iBooks. One thing I really like about iBooks is it enables you to read PDF documents. So VoiceOver will read them out loud, which is absolutely brilliant. This was an absolute lifesaver for me when I was at university. So that is a handy little feature which many people don't know. If you open a PDF, you can open it in iBooks. The next app for reading is Overdrive. Now, Overdrive is an app where you can connect it to your local library and you can get a wide selection of books, so it's basically like having your own portable library and accessing your local library at home. If you have a visual impairment and are registered with the RNIB library, a lot of their books are also on Overdrive, so you can get these as well and rent them easily if you don't want them in Braille or large print. The next category that I'm going to discuss is travel. As a blind person, travel apps are essential for me. I do travel quite a lot, meeting friends, with my family, so these are definitely a necessity. The first one I'm going to discuss is the built-in Apple Maps. I use this quite a lot when I'm out and about. It tells you directions and all sorts. It's just like Maps app really. It's kind of fairly self-explanatory and it is brilliant. It's fully accessible, so yeah, I would definitely recommend using that. The second one is the Trainline app. As a person with a vision impairment, registered as blind and a screen reader user, I find it very difficult to book train tickets because a lot of websites aren't accessible. The Trainline app is fully accessible and you can book tickets through that, you can check platforms. You know, as I have no use of vision, I can't see the departure boards and sometimes it's really hard to hear the announcements. So checking to see what platform my train is leaving from is brilliant. You can also store your e-tickets on the Trainline app, so you don't have to print out tickets or you don't have to collect them from the station. So it's just a really accessible and handy app to have. The next app is Blind Square. This is an app created for blind and visually impaired people, and it basically essentially reads directions out, so you can plan a route and it will tell you directions, so it's great if you're out and about and you need to get somewhere. It'll also tell you nearby destinations such as restaurants and that kind of thing. You do have to pay for Blind Square, it's definitely a worthwhile investment. The next app that I want to discuss is an app which is by Microsoft, which is called Microsoft Soundscape, and this is relatively new, I believe, and it essentially you have to use it with headphones, but you can set a destination into it and it kind of gives you audible feedback. So for example, when you're getting closer it will do various different beeps and it can get you a certain amount of feet within a destination, so it's really useful to have if you're blind and you need to get somewhere or you're not sure of the route. Obviously don't rely on it completely, but it's useful to have and I would recommend it. The next category I'll just general blindness apps. The first one is an app called Seeing AI, which is seeing, obviously, sight, and AI means artificial intelligence. Seeing AI has a whole lot of features. I'm going to show you. So, Seeing AI has, like I said, it has many features, and they call their features channels. So I'm just going to run through the channels. The first one is short text. So it will read a piece of short text out to you. It will read it out loud. So you point your camera at, say, a letter, a bank statement or something like that, and it will read it out loud to you. That is great if you're like myself and have no useful vision. Documents, so this could be a longer document, so maybe a longer letter, and it will read it out, which is really good. Product, so if you're not sure what a product is and you pick it up, it will recognise it, hopefully, and it will tell you exactly what it is. Person, now this is quite an interesting one, as you can actually program faces into it, and it will then tell you who it is. So if you're not sure, then you can use this feature to determine who it is. Personally, I don't use this as I know people's voices, but it may be useful, you know, if you need to use that feature. Currency is the next channel. One thing I used to struggle with was before the English notes changed, was telling the difference between notes. Now it's not too bad because they feel different and there are dots on the £10 note, but maybe if you're abroad and you need to tell the currency, this is a really useful feature. Scene preview is the next one, and it will tell you the kind of thing that's around you, which can be useful. I've not really tried this one, but it's definitely an interesting feature. Colour preview is the next one. It will tell you the colour of something, so this could be useful for clothing or anything like that. Now it's just said the colour of my trousers and it's just telling me colours around basically. It's obviously important to remember that this may not be accurate, so obviously use it with caution. Multicolour will tell you like multicolour things, which is the next feature. It's fairly self-explanatory. Light is basically a light detector, and it can detect light around you. So if you don't have any light perception and you need to know whether a light is on or off, then you can use this feature. There's another feature within Seeing AI, which is photos, and this is a feature that I use a lot. It will tell you what is in a photo. So if you went to a photo in your camera roll, which I will do, I know what this picture is of already because I recognise the date. So if you go to share, and at the very bottom there is recognise with Seeing AI.
Recognise with C9. Processing. C. A woman standing in front of a body of water posing for the camera.
And it says a woman standing in front of a body of water posing for the camera. Now it's not fully accurate because I was actually stood in front of the sea. The sea was in the background, so yeah, it's kind of accurate, but it gives you an idea of what the picture is showing. The next blindness related app is TapTapSee. Now this app has been around for years and it is one of my most loved apps. What you can do with this app is you can basically point it in front of something and it will tell you what it is. So I've used it for clothing before. It's not fully accurate, but it's useful. It'll tell you what an object is, a product, anything like that, and it will also, like Seeing AI, it will recognise photos. It's a really useful app and one that I would most certainly recommend. My next app that I would recommend is an app called KNFB Reader. Now this is very expensive I can't remember how much it costs, but it is a lot of money. I don't use this app as much anymore because I have an Orcam now. So what this app does is it will read printed text out loud to you, so things like letters, menus, anything like that. Like I said, I use my Orcam now, so I don't use this as much, but I've kept it on my phone because it's a useful app to have. There are other apps that do the same thing that are a lot cheaper, so it depends how much you want to pay really. One of the final apps that I'm going to discuss is an app called Voice Dream Reader. Now this app will read documents out loud to you, and I used to use this all the time whilst I was at university. Granted, I don't use it as much now, but it is there if I need it. That app also has an accompanying app called Voice Dream Writer, which can also be useful if you're studying, and it has various writing features with it as well. The next app, which isn't necessarily a blindness related app, is my banking app. I use this all the time to check my bank, how much money I've got in, transfer money, and it's just really great to have so that I don't have to get a sighted person to do it for me. Now the final two apps that I'm going to discuss are social media apps, so they obviously aren't fully blindness related, but they are Facebook and Twitter. As you all know, I'm a blogger, so I use these all the time for blogging, but also it's great to keep up with the sight loss and blindness community and disability community on these as well. On Twitter, it's great to see what the charities are doing, keep in contact with other blind and visually impaired people, and just see all the news around sight loss. On Facebook, I'm part of some visual impairment groups to do with all things visual impairment, so for example technology. It's just great to be able to post in those groups, get advice, help others, kind of like a forum really. So that is all my blindness related apps that I use. I hope you've enjoyed this video and that some of you have found it useful. I'll try and leave some information on the apps down in the description if you need any information, but please do not hesitate to get in contact if you have any questions. Leave them in the comments, contact me on social media, and if you have a visual impairment, let me know what your favourite app is, or if you have any other disability, then let me know what your favourite app is that's related to your disability. Please don't forget to subscribe, give this video a huge thumbs up, and I would love to chat to you in the comments. If you think anyone would benefit from this video, then please do not hesitate to share on social media, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye guys!